I feel great now. Probably after 5-6 days I went back to the complete normality. I felt great again. Last recollection of the concussion was probably the handball, and then since that moment I couldn't really recall much of the game or remember going back out into the ground or seeing anyone after the game. So I got my bearings back the next day and sort of started to remember bits and pieces in the morning of the game and bits like that, but yeah, I don't remember much, unfortunately.
What was the sort of protocols that you had to follow after to make sure you particularly the right things?
So the AFL is really strict now, which is great. I think it's a really good initiative they've put in place. They've put a 12-day time frame in place, so you can't play before that time is up. They were really strict on each day. You had to tick off certain boxes, so days 1 to 2 were complete rest, and then you build up from there in terms of light to moderate exercise into the main training. And yeah, the PPT staff at the club did a fantastic job, and I'm very grateful for them managing the schedule and the group around me trying to get back for last Friday night under the protocols.
How was the next couple of days after? It was important you might be struggling still. But sort of put people in your perspective, what is it like after you have a severe concussion like that?
Yeah, it's quite scary. I mean, it's not nice. My parents were there as well, so it's not nice, obviously, having your parents there at the game and having to see you down at the rooms in a bit of a state. So it's not a very enjoyable experience looking at yourself, and the vision was replayed numerous times. So to watch yourself get KO'd essentially, and you feel a bit sorry for your head and your brain, but yeah, it is what it is, and I felt great, like I said, after a few days. So I'm back to complete normality now, and I feel fantastic.
When did you have you heard from him? When did you hear from him?
Pat contacted me the next day, so we exchanged a few texts, and that was great, and he reached out, and yeah, I obviously live with Pat, so I've got a great amount of respect for what he did for me in my early years at the club. He did a lot for me and his partner Marty, so yeah, I'm incredibly grateful for that and what he did for me. But yeah, obviously it was an unfortunate incident. Yeah, he made a decision, and unfortunately I came off second best from that, or he did with 3 games.
Yeah, what do you think about the 3 games suspension? I mean, in terms of like length, do you think that was probably fair? Perth Red Light was a lot of debate around it.
Yeah, I think the AFL is very strict now on where they want to go with from a concussion viewpoint, and they've made that crystal clear. And if you're going to engage in a bump like that, and a player's going to get concussed, then I think the fair result is that they miss a number of weeks. So I think the result that occurred was fair, and I think the AFL is doing a fantastic job in stamping that out of the game, because I think we've got to really take a duty of care with players' heads, and we don't know how it's going to end up in 20 years with some of these players who are getting severe concussions. So it's going to be interesting.
Does it affect you going forward? I mean, even subconsciously, you know, when you're on the field, you know, if you get involved in a similar kind of situation, you think it may affect you?
I mean, going into the next game after a severe concussion, I was a bit hesitant on whether it would affect me, but once I got out there, I was completely back to normal, and even out of training today, I'm not even thinking about it. So yeah, I think it'll be business as usual for me.
Are you grateful there is that you always got a protocol, that there's no pressure on you to come back too soon, you just sit back and wait for it?
Yeah, I am. I think it's a really, really, really good measure that the AFL's putting in place. I think we've got to really ensure that we're looking after players in the long run, because it's all well and good now to say you're back to normal, but who's to say in 20 years some of these players who are getting ongoing concussions, severe concussions, there could be ramifications down the track. So we've got to, as an industry, protect the player and protect their heads. So I think it's a really good thing the AFL's put in place.
Is that the first time you've suffered?
Yes, a severe one, yeah. I suffered one last year, but that was a very minor one. Yeah, I think I could have played after. I felt okay enough in myself to be able to play after 6 or 7 days, but it was really comforting knowing that I couldn't, in a way, because I knew that I had another 6 days, and I knew that after that period my brain would be back to normal without scientifically knowing what was going on exactly. But yeah, it was just comforting to know that it was completely out of the question, the game the next week, and I could just focus on last Friday night. Yeah, you do. Yeah, so you probably don't even realise you're completely back. You feel back to normal, but you probably, when you're out on the track, don't have that sharpness quite back. So yeah, after 12 days, I definitely had that.
how you feeling the back line gelled together? You know, this year about it. You know, they seem to perform pretty well.
Yeah, really good. Jordan Butts continues to do a fantastic job for the club. He's shut down some great forwards. And he's developing really nicely. Nicky Murray's coming through, and he played his first game against Sydney, so that was great to see. And obviously that was one of the benefits of me not playing, seeing a guy like Nick Murray perform. So I'm really stoked for him and how he's going. And Joshy Worrell's performing really well in the sample, and then obviously the guys who are in the team, McPherson's going well, Dudes is tracking along really nicely. So we've got a great little mix down there, and I think Scotty Burns has done an amazing job in getting us up and going.
If I was talking about Josh Worrell, it's going to be hard to push him, but he's obviously a talent.
He is. He's an early draft pick, and he's developing really nicely. He's had to work on a bit the last 12 months, and he's done that, and he's putting himself in a really good position going forward.
Going up the upper end of the ground, do you reckon Taylor Walker's resurgence is the story of the year so far?
Yeah, I'm stoked for Tex. I mean, it's after the 2017 grand final, he copped a bit of flack, and he has done for the last 2 years, and I'm absolutely stoked for him that he's really performing, and yeah, it's great to see him actually stand up and yeah, perform really. And yeah, 6 goals I think he kicked last week, so it's fantastic. It's a great story, and yeah, hopefully he continues to perform.
It seems like from the outside, it's a kind of combination of game rules, but also he seems to be moving a lot better than he did last year. He's a bit more unrestricted. Is it as simple as that with the resurgence this year?
Yeah, I actually, and someone asked me that a few days ago, I don't actually know the exact reason as to why he's dominating the competition at the moment, so I'll have to ask him. He's had a great pre-season, but yes, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
This week, is there any chance of any complacency?
I hope not. No, I'm hoping that we go out there and we hunt them, and like we've done the last 2 weeks. I think it's been a great part about the club for the last 3 weeks is that we've gone out there and we've been the hunters, and we've gone at the game against Geelong. We went at them, and I think that's what we should do against North Melbourne. Obviously they're struggling a bit at the moment with coming off a few losses, so we'll go out there and yeah, and do that. I think you've got to. You can't. In the competition now, it's such an even competition that if your effort and intensity is off ever so slightly, you get found out, no matter how well the team's going. I mean, you see that in how we've played round 1, I think, against Geelong. They're obviously a quality outfit, and we came out with intensity and effort, and we got the result. So I think if you drop that ever so slightly, you can be found out very quickly in this competition. Not that I'm aware of. Ferrari, so you don't drive them in the mud. Yeah, I think Matty Crouch is tracking, like Reece said, pretty well. So he's just building up, and as with Daniel Taylor, he's building up slightly with his issue. And then Schoenberg, I think, was just a bit ill today, so precautionary.